launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Tuesday, December 6th, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. Well, I guess it might be time for everyone in women's physique to start ducking for cover, because Sarah Villegas is officially sending out warning shots. Last week, the reigning and defending two-time champion released the only official update photos that we've seen since the start of her prep. And if we're all being honest with ourselves, the only real takeaway here was that she's probably about to cruise to a third straight title, and there isn't a whole lot anyone else in the division can do about it. At her best, Sarah Villegas is the complete package. She doesn't have any weaknesses, and she never misses when it comes to conditioning. And when you're dealing with someone who operates with that level of precision, it doesn't leave you any margin for error. Stay tuned. Mike Tyson's most famous quote of all time is probably the classic, "Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth." And for the purposes of this conversation, Hadi Choopan is Mike Tyson in his prime, which means that everyone else who has dreams of landing in the first call out better be prepared for a fight, because it looks like he's about to come out swinging. The fact that he spent the last few weeks here in the States as opposed to flying in at the last minute like he typically has might be something that people aren't talking about enough, because this will be the first time ever we'll get a chance to see what Hadi looks like on an Olympia stage without having all that additional stress on his body. So if Hadi can come out of the gate strong and maybe deliver a few knockout shots along the way, Grammy's gonna have his hands full, because that's not going to be an easy storm to weather. If you're a Hassan Mustafa fan, you've had a lot to be excited about lately, because this season we finally saw Hassan make the leap from good to great that we've all been waiting for. He's racked up a handful of wins, put together a couple of really impressive outings, and maybe most importantly, he's been really consistent with his conditioning all year long, which was a mystery that he couldn't quite seem to solve up until now. In the update we saw from his team last week, Hassan looked like he was pretty close to where he needed to be as he heads into the home stretch. And you'd imagine that he's probably trying to empty the tank at this point, because that's what he'll have to do to give himself the best chance to fight for a spot at the back end of the top 10 this year. For all intents and purposes, the amount of guys that we'll have battling to make it to that group will be as deep as we've ever seen in the Olympia history for quite some time. But if Hassan can hold his own, he should have a puncher's chance to make something special happen in the end. How's this for a Hot Take Tuesday? Last week, Jay Cutler was on a podcast and said that he believes that Andrew Jacked has the ability to come in and challenge Ramy for the Olympia title this year. Look, it's one thing for some random person in bodybuilding media to say something like this, because everyone is fighting for views, and headlines like this are the ultimate clickbait. But for someone like Jay Cutler, who is undeniably one of the most influential people in the history of the sport, to say something like this, it just resonates differently. So does that mean that Andrew will be the first person to ever have a walk-off win on the Olympia stage? And here's a better question. If he does, and Jay is right, will that make this the biggest upset in bodybuilding history? We want to hear what you think in the comments below. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.